Hello everyone, my name is Osama Al-Jarrah. I am going to be your TA for MNE101, Introduction to Mechanical Engineering. Today's exercise is from the textbook SolidWorks 2020 Basic Tools, Chapter 3, Basic Solid Modeling Extruding Option. But before we start, I will give you some hints. Please get comfortable and have an ergonomic seating and use a mouse to make your engineering drawing. You know how important is the engineering drawing, which play a huge role to translate your thoughts and idea into physical entity. This entity will be later studied in other subjects you will take and eventually will be manufactured. Please, before we start, get used to be familiar with SolidWorks. So we have the menu, which includes File, Edit, View, which is shared by many other softwares. Go to the option and make sure you are selecting uh, the same style we are using in this exercise. So go to the display style. The default style will be in the hidden lines removed. So to make our drawing easier, make the other option hidden lines visible. And to make sure we are on the same line, make sure we are using the same unit system. So make sure the options on the IPS, inch pound second, and the decimal and 0.12. To start a new part, go to File, then open a new, then choose Part. Get familiar with the SolidWorks. So you can see here, you have the menus, and you have here the design tree, and then in your left-hand side, you have the task pan. To start your drawing, go to your command manager and select sketch. Try to select a proper plane that eventually will help you out when you do a view. I recommend to use the front plane. Then you will have the origin point. The origin point is very important, and try to make your drawings around the origin point. SolidWorks read all the other measurements and dimension around your origin point. To start your drawing, make sure you have select sketch from the command manager. You have different options. So for our exercise today, select the line. Don't be restrict to the dimensions, but as you are more close to the actual dimension, you don't need a heavy adjustment. So you can just start with arbitrary design. So as you start with the drawing line, there is some hint given you by SolidWorks. So you will notice that you have the dimension of your line with the degree or the slope of your line. So we can start like that. Then when you are going to the other line, you will notice there is some hints. So there is a heighted line that give you a hint. This is a perpendicular to the previous line you have drawn. So we not restrict to any relationship yet, but try to draw a very close one to what you have in page number 10. After you finish your drawing, you can click yes. Make sure you have created a region by clicking in one of the corners and try to drag it. So you will notice that you have created a region, which is very important later when you do the extrusion. Now we will make sure that we have a relationship between these lines. So first of all, we want to make these three lines, which I just highlighted, are collinear. So go to the display delete relationship and select add relation. So when you select the relation, the line, it will be change its color. So you don't need to press Ctrl, just select the other one. And you know right now there is a relationship between line 3 and line 7 indicated from the design tree. Select the third line. Now you have a different relationship. So add collinear. You will notice right now they are aligned in the same line. So these lines in the top of your figure are equal. So we're gonna add relation again this time. So make sure you have closed the relationship, previous relationship, and go to the relation again. So we want to add relation. So select these lines and try to make them equal. Since I haven't drawn this line to be a perpendicular to the other one, I will make sure that these lines are orthogonal to the lines on the surface. So we can add a relationship again. So can I select this one with this one and make them perpendicular? So since these are highlighted again here, so I cannot use the relationship. So the perpendicular cannot be seen over here. So I can close this relationship and go back. Make sure these lines are not highlighted. So we want to select the entities. So this first line with the other one. And now you can see the perpendicular is an option. So tick it and make sure this is okay. Make sure your design is underdefined or fully defined. If you have duplicate a relationship, you might be having an overdefined object, which make your dimensions is driven. So select right now the smart dimensions. So there is a different way to have the dimensions here. So you can select horizontal dimension or vertical dimension, but the easiest one is the smart dimension. So you can select the original point and you can select the other point the same way you have used to do the drawing the line. You can adjust the dimension later and put the correct one. It will be adjusted to the one you have just select. Then we will add the second dimension. So start from this point over here. So this is not a linear dimension. So you can cross the arrow right away. Then you will have the dimension you want. And you can pick 2 inches. And then we can select the dimension over here to the one over here. And make sure it's on 4. So if we made our dimension previously correct, so we will not have the same messy figure we have experiencing right now. Select this one and select the other point over here and adjust the dimension. After we have finished the horizontal dimensions, we're going to start with the vertical measurements. So the best thing is to start with the dominant one. To start from here to over here. You can select the second one. .5. Then select the one after it. 1.5. and then select the last one. Then we can do the last dimension. So one of the dimension we have entered is wrong. So we can go easily back to the same dimension and double click on it, and we can retain it. We have inserted the thickness for this layer, 0.5 inches, and you can see our figure is still in a blue, which means your figure is underdefined. Now we want to extrude our object. So you can go to manager command again and select feature. So you'll see a new options over here. So the one you want to see is extrude. So select extrude, and now you can see you have the ISO view. So to give you a hint, SolidWorks will extrude your object slightly. You can select to which direction you want to extrude your object. So we are strict to the textbook. So we will go through, and then we will select 6 inches. So you can see now we have built our object. So we want to adjust the location for this line. Go to dimension and select the line. And make it 2.25. Now we can add the circle. So select the circle and pick an arbitrary dimension for the radius, and go back to the smart dimension and just highlight anywhere to your circle and put the right dimensions, which is 2 inch. So we want to add a relationship between these lines and the circle. So highlight the circle and the line and add tangent. And we want to do it to the other line. So select the circle and the other line and make sure it's tangent. Now we will use the trim entities. So go to the trim, then we select trim entities. We don't want this part of the circle. And return to the ISO view. So delete the line we have used to create our new feature. Go to the feature and select extrude. So there is a different way to make the extrusion. The first one is blind. The second one is through all. So you must select the object you want to extrude first. So you can see it will be extruding through all your objects. Select up to surface. So it will be extruding until you select one of these surfaces. Select mid plane. So it will be extruded in both sides, in both direction, and it will take the plane you have drawn your feature as the center point for your extrusion. So go back to extrude, and then we want it to be extruded through your object. Now we're gonna handle this drawing to the a foreman or a welder who will work on it. So he needs to know the finishing process for this product. So usually there is a different options. So if we use the filler material to weld this object, we can present it in a fillet. So we can select it, select the objects, so we want a filler preview, and we want the filler material to have 0.125 inches. Now press OK. You can see now it's presented in a way that a welder can know what is the finishing process for your object.